We hit our speaker for second service. Let me ask Pastor Ken if you come up again and give us a little highlights of your ministry here in the early 70s. I did find it amazing when I saw the slideshow, the picture of you and your family and how young you were.
Yes, I was very young. I think I was about 27 years old when we came here. And it was a great time for my wife and I to be here. And one of the things that I appreciated about being here was the involvement in all aspects of the church. For example, when the kids would go to camp in the summertime, I would take them and be there with them. And I remember when the camps went till Saturday morning then, and then you had to come all the way from Alexandria back here and have Sunday and so forth. So I said to these little guys, I said, hey, we are leaving at 8:30 in the morning. You be dressed, you be ready to go. That's it. That little guy got up and he said, Pastor, I'm ready to go. In fact, I didn't even take my clothes off last night. I just slept at him so I'd be sure to be ready to go this morning. So that was an interesting experience. And of course, we used to do things with kids like go up and see the space shuttle. I remember it was up at St. Paul, and just being able to spend time with the kids of the church and be a part of the Vacation Bible School, and to be able to do the opening exercise and see some of these little guys open their hearts to Jesus. It's one of the most thrilling things that as I look back. I think, is Phil Johnson still here? Phil, Craig, your little guy was a part of this group, and Craig and Virgil Bonkin and some of, I think it was Mavis Johnson boys that would come and be a part of these things that we would have. For me, it was just really fun to be a part of that. And I remember when I first came, I thought, well, this is kind of a country community, so when they had the men's meeting, I put on my old blue jeans and went to the first men's meeting. The men at men's meeting dressed up in suits. Anybody remember that? Dressed up in suits for the men's meeting, and the ladies would put on a scrumptious meal, and we'd have a good time. And so that is something I probably will never forget too. And I guess another thing, I think before we came here, maybe, Chuck Westendorf. We were in Lake City, Minnesota, and I knew Chuck Westendorf from college. You talk about kids not behaving in church. We were pastors up on the platform, and they had to tell us to settle down. Because we had so much to talk about when it came from back in college days and so forth. And so there could be a lot more. I remember the Nelsons came into the church then, and Warren, if you say evangelism, he's for it. And I says to Warren, I says, we ought to go witness. He says, okay. And so we just struck out door to door. And that was the days of the 4 spiritual laws. And we knocked on the door, and I said, I'm Pastor May from the Assembly of God Church. This is Warren Nelson. And we've been thinking that people talk about everything but their spiritual lives. And we have this little book with the 4 spiritual laws, and we'd like to share it with you if we could. And I don't remember if we really accomplished anything. I think I did hear afterwards that some people said, wow, that was really something that they came to the door and did that. So those were some of the highlights. I think my wife would say one of her highlights was playing classical music with Rudolph Hildingstruth when he played the violin. That was great. They just enjoyed it together. I'm going to have my wife, most of you, the first thing you ask us is about our family. And then could you take just a minute and tell us who the girls are? When we were here, we had Kathy and Pam, and just a couple months before we moved away, Stephanie was born. And then later we had one more. This is my wife, Elaine. I'm sorry I didn't recognize her when I spoke this morning, but you know, you've heard everyone gives 3 sermons. The one you plan to give, the one you do give, and the one you'd give if you could do it over again. Well, if I could do it over again, I would have introduced my wife at the time I introduced her. Hey, this lady is very, very, absolutely amazing. Love her very much. She's been the love of my life, and it's going to be 50 years next year, I think.
The thing I remember about Ellendale was we had 2 women's groups that met for WMs, and it was pretty much the younger ladies, and then another group of the older ladies, and of course I got to go to both, and so that was very enjoyable to me. And just a short thing about our daughters, we had 4 daughters. The oldest is in Des Moines, Iowa, married to a children's pastor. They have 3 children. And then the second one is in Houston, Texas. And they had 2 children, and then they adopted 2 more. So they had older ones and now younger. And then our 3rd daughter, Stephanie, who was born actually here, or in Owatonna, and but it was while we were living here. She lives in Santa Barbara, California, and they have 2 daughters. And then we have our youngest that lives in Hastings, Nebraska, and they have 2 little ones that are 7 and 5, a boy and a girl. So we've been blessed with lots of grandchildren, and the only problem is they all live so far away. But, so those of you who have them close, enjoy them.
Yeah, that, when Stephanie was born, as I remember, she was born on a Sunday evening, and that day we had a service, a guest speaker, David Nelson. We'd gone out for a water baptism, and then we were back and had a board meeting after Sunday night service. And you said, send somebody to get to my husband, I gotta go to the hospital.